So, Freunde, buenos dias, buenos dias. Starting off with something very embarrassing that happened to me the other day, where I uploaded the raw version of a video instead of the edited one. And some of you texted me like, yo, Cito, are you alright? Are you okay? Because you're just repeating the same segment over and over again. And while it's embarrassing for me, to be honest, I think for you guys, it also adds more context on the production behind those videos, because I usually take more takes from one segment. Big shout out to my friend Thomas who reported this, so I could delete it right away and upload the correct version. But anyways, while you're here, consider subscribing to the channel. This is where I cover the ins and outs of Cosmos, the Cosmos ecosystem, upcoming chains, airdrop, and so on and so forth. And in today's episode, we have a lot of news about one that's already upcoming that you know about, which is Story Protocol, and a brand new one that just announced that they're also going to launch a chain. We'll also talk about the Berachain price action and much more. But first off, we have another win to celebrate for the privacy ecosystem and crypto in general, with the release of Tornado Cash co-founder Alexei from prison. At the same time, the market is not really doing much and is actually very, very dry and brutal, and people are just capitulating. They're getting anxious, they're getting fearful again, which is fair enough after such a long period where markets were down ever since the Terra collapse in early mid 2022. Times have been rough in crypto land, but Chris Boninsky is one of the best investors in crypto, came out and said that this feels like we're currently in April, May, June of 2021, where we had a big 50 to 80% retrace, but the all-time highs came after that. So I personally think that we are still going to see an alt season, of course. I still think we're going to see a fundamental season. So far, we haven't really seen anything that sticks. We saw small, short, pump narratives that went parabolic, but then they came down and crashed to the ground right away. So far, nothing much that has been sticking. Besides, you could point out maybe Solana, that is really, still at a very high level relative to its 2022-23 lows. But also, people are now coming out and sharing their frustration about the market, sharing their feelings, and how they're now fearful and think that like, yo, what if the bull run is over? What if the top was in? What if I did not manage to make life-changing money and I bet on the wrong backs and we had all these Trump and Melania coins that sucked in all the liquidity? So that's the state of the market right now and the state of sentiment on crypto Twitter. On the other hand, we are seeing a lot of progress on the fundamentals. And of course, I'm a permabull. I've been in crypto now for 7 years. I went through 2 bear cycles now. So I feel like this is business as usual, but of course you always have to be in the pulse of the next thing, because crypto is rotating incredibly fast. And I also constantly question my own thesis, my own convictions, but I always come to the conclusion that Cosmos, with its app chain thesis, with its focus on sovereignty, interoperability, is on the right track. The only thing that's missing now is number 1, a strong, true hub, and number 2, more unity behind the scenes, so that projects and founders and new multi-billion-dollar products are actually proudly representing Cosmos, same as Mantra does it. And one of the breaking news from the recent days that was announced during Ondo Summit is that Ondo Finance is going to launch their own Cosmos SDK build, layer 1 blockchain, purpose built for institutional grade RWAs. So that is very, very big news. Ondo has very, very strong partners. If you look into their network and ecosystem of partners, they have Franklin Templeton, they have BlackRock, they have many more that are in the Ondo ecosystem. So they made this full announcement here, and you can also see Google Cloud is here, and all these big partners, big institutions that are now basically coming to Cosmos, because Ondo is building a Cosmos L1. And I know what you're already scratching to type, like, yo, Cito, again, you're bullish and excited about this chain, but how does this help my Atom bags? How does this help my other Cosmos bags, right? And the truth is, this news alone does not help your Atom bags, does not help my Atom bags, right? I still have very, very big Atom bags. Relative in percentage to my portfolio size, it has been going down, but in total numbers, it's still a decent Atom bag, I would say, at least for me. But I still think that specifically now, with the new leadership around Mac and Barry sitting at the steering wheel for the Interchain Foundation or Interchain Labs, one of their core objectives is to actually showcase that Atom can actually act as a true hub and be as true interchain service provider, like the tagline says on Twitter for the Cosmos Hub, interchain service provider, by providing services to the interchain, which would be bullish for Atom and also, in my view, bullish for the Cosmos ecosystem. And if you look at the vast diversity of the ecosystem and all the verticals that Cosmos dominates, it becomes clear that the Cosmos thesis has won, right? And by that, I mean the philosophy, the idea about sovereignty, app chain thesis, and interoperability, also around IBC. If you look at RWAs alone, we now have Mantra, Providence, Noble, and Ondo. Those 4 alone are multi-billion dollar chains, also in terms of the TVL, the value of the tokenized assets, right? Mantra alone closed a $1 billion deal with Damak, which is a real estate developer here in Dubai, as well as with MAG. We have Provenance that are tokenizing financial products and have an insane TVL as well. Noble for native USDC, and they're also going to launch Noble Dollar very soon. And Ondo, they also have a multi-billion dollar TVL with the partners that I just mentioned. Then if you look at DeFi, it's no different, right? We have Kronos, we have Say, Injective, Dydx, Osmosis, Celestia dominating the modularity sector. AI is dominated by Cosmos, left and right. If you look at Fetch, Akash, Humans AI, and of course interoperability with Axelar and Union that is coming up. So, and those then don't even include Babylon for the Bitcoin sector, Story for the IP sector, Initia, Nilian also for privacy. So it is expanding, it is growing. And what is important now is to, and this is, like I always say, like the final, in my view at least, the final chance for Atom to get it right with this new leadership that is well-funded, of course, that is very smart at the pulse of innovation, well-respected by all other teams in Cosmos and beyond, which is what Skip Team and Meg and Barry actually are, that, the Cosmos Hub can become a true interchain service provider and decentralized router to make Atom attractive again and to make the Cosmos Hub great again. Barry also saying what Cosmos got wrong is what they're now fixing, which is to bring your own virtual machine, especially EVM, a vertically integrated interoperability solution, including IBC everywhere, ultra-fast block times, which right now most block times for Comet BFT chains in Cosmos are between 6 and 7 seconds, and a strong hub providing infrastructure to the ecosystem, aka make Atom a true hub, a true inter-chain service provider, right? And Monty also saying, what if RWAs and enterprise adoption are the verticals and end up accelerating Cosmos into infinity, which could be also true, right? Because that also means institutions are now learning about Cosmos. They are now getting into the ecosystem. Mantra, Noble, Provenance, and Ondo. Those are the new holy projects, holy grails for RWAs, all made in Cosmos. And it's not only that Mark and Barry are well respected, but they're also bull posting like never before. And they're bull posting about Atom, which is something that never existed before. So Mark is saying, realize the largest chains choose Cosmos and you underestimate them because Atom, which is what builds this, is sitting on the biggest adoption goldmine in crypto. When it clicks, it clicks. Of course, there are still, challenges along the way. Atom is not in the best position as of today, but they're working full steam on that. And I think they have a clear vision, which we're also going to see with proposals and ideas being shared with the community very soon. And I will be first to cover them here on the channel. Yelena, founder of Noble, also coming out and saying that they knew all along that Cosmos would be the best stack to build an L1 RWA or a stablecoin chain with a permissioned validator set. They use proof of authority with Stakecito. We are one of the validators. Seamless interoperability with IBC V1, which is just a start. V2 is actually coming this year. IBC V2 is called IBC Eureka, which will enable native connectivity to Ethereum and EVM. So IBC V2 will be a game changer for Cosmos IBC and interoperability. Scalable, super low fee and high throughput, modular, customizable stack. Also very, very excited to see what Noble has cooking. I think a lot of things will come out of Noble in the coming weeks as well. Then, of course, this wouldn't be complete without Sunny adding his comments to it, of course. Sunny saying the two most important asset classes in crypto are Bitcoin and RWAs. What if there was one DEX perfectly positioned to dominate both? Now, Sunny also capturing the RWA mindshare, RWA liquidity, and making Osmosis an RWA DEX, which is another narrative, another new identity for Osmosis. And to be honest, I say it like in a sarcastic way, but I'm not even mad about it. I just think, as a big Osmo believer, as a big believer in Sunny and the core team at Osmosis, and I'm not going to sell a single Osmo at this point, specifically not, because at those price levels is absolutely crazy. And yes, they are currently, I personally feel like in a bit of an identity crisis, but it seems like Sunny is trying out 10 different things right now, and whichever sticks, they will double down on that, right? And it seems like they have good traction with Bitcoin, which I'm not mad about. And yeah, maybe RWAs are next. And JP, the founder of Mantra, actually commented on this. So yeah, there might also be a collaboration going on behind the scenes. I'm definitely holding on to my Osmo, not only because of that, but also because they're now potentially going to implement a burning fee, which would burn 50% of the takers fees collected in Osmo. You can read the full proposal here on the Osmosis forum, but definitely I'm not going to sell that one. Same calls for Akash equity, which has also been underperforming in recent weeks, like all altcoins. But if you look at fundamentals, if you look at verifiable on-chain metrics, which nowadays, as sad as it sounds, is like the mid-curve take on crypto. Like people don't do due diligence anymore, don't look at on-chain verifiable metrics, don't read white papers, they don't really care. They just look at who's tweeting about it, who bought, and where does it get listed, bam, 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 that's it, right? But yeah, Akash AKT, one of the strongest coins out there, one of the biggest in my personal portfolio, in my liquid portfolio, and also the highest earning DePIN project, decentralized physical infrastructure network project, as per what is it? DePIN Ninja. DePIN.ninja, you can see that here. Akash is leading the pack by far. Definitely one I'm not going to sell. Well, one that is still coming out, but is very, very soon coming out, is Story Protocol's IP token. Story raised also, I think, over $150 million. I think the highest valuation or last valuation was around $3 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but introducing IP. Story Protocol is coming out, introducing their Story L1 and the IP coin, which of course is also made in Cosmos. This is another full-on Cosmos SDK blockchain, and Story is at the convergence of AI and intellectual property, and also builds a new use case for the whole AI agent scene. And they're saying that they are going to tackle the challenge, or take on the challenge, to tokenize $61 trillion of IP, of the IP asset class. 58% of the IP token will be devoted to the ecosystem and community. I think they have not really shared any details around an airdrop. Of course, I would love for the Cosmos community to get an airdrop, the Atom community, that would be amazing. But yeah, we'll see. At least some NFT communities, but ideally, of course, the Atom community, right? Because this is what could make Atom also great again, is a return of the airdrop meta. But yeah, I think that's a whole different seminar. Anyways, IP is coming very, very soon, and they're fostering also their relationships with AI agents. So Cerebro is actually the first AI agent validator on the Story mainnet. I personally am not sure if that is actually AI managing the validator or the Cerebro team, but nonetheless, this is interesting and fits into the storyline, I guess. With Stakecito, we're also very, very proud to join the Story Protocol validator site, so we'll be there at Genesis as well. And in case there's going to be an airdrop, I hope that you consider staking with us, or if you're an investor into Story. Next, also, Celestia. We have to talk about Celestia because this thing is an absolute sleeper, and right now, the fundamentals are going against the price. It's not like they're not pricing it, they're like going against the price, because fundamentals are up only, but price is going down only. And I think obviously the main reason for that steep increase in data posted on Celestia is the fact that Eclipse has this crazy campaign going on. We're going to talk about it. But this is a very, very interesting chart, the chart of price versus amount of data posted per day on Celestia. And like Sepmos is rightfully saying, something is off here. Well, what is causing that huge increase is, in my view at least, Eclipse. I think we looked at the numbers, like Eclipse is by far the biggest user of Celestia and posts a lot of data. And that is because not only they have their whole DeFi suite where you can bridge assets onto Eclipse, you can mint their native version of, you can mint Ether, you can trade, you can buy meme coins, all these kind of things. But I also have this game going on, Turbo Tap, right? And you need actually an invite code to start. I'll leave one in the video description down below. I've been starting this like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And to be honest, it's not only highly addictive, but it's also very well gamified. And it's just something you can do while you have, while you're on a long call with your grandma, whatever. But yeah, Turbo Tap is definitely causing huge demand here. And that's Eclipse and Celestia, which I personally think Celestia at this point severely, severely undervalued. And the same counts for Atom. I think Atom right now also, and you might be very, very bored and exhausted to hear this because I've been saying this forever, but that's just my personal conviction, my personal thesis, right? And if I personally think that it doesn't count anymore, then I would probably sell all my Atom. And to be honest, I just can't because I believe that Atom has a lot of benefits that most of these other newer chains don't really have, right? Which is a well-distributed token, listed on all major exchanges, still has a core community that really believes in Atom, and is still always, there's some new team that will come with new fresh wind and try to do something with it, right? And I think with Mark and Barry and Interchain Labs that are not only smart and ambitious, but also well-funded, of course, that, there could finally be more Atom alignment. And Mark also coming out and saying that there are 3 new Atom aligned chains that will come out very, very soon. And they're not interchain security aligned or narrative aligned, but actually for Atom, the assets that will take off Atom from the market. And he also accepts the challenge to turn Atom from a dead shitcoin with down-only price action into a revenue-backed asset that earns value from the expansion of Cosmos, which would be the single greatest achievement in 4,000 years of human history, which is right, actually very right here. And Mark is just saying, challenge accepted. So we'll see, but they're cooking really, really hard. And what comes out of that, we'll see in this cycle. But yeah, I think Atom has a lot of benefits over other chains, over older chains. It went through so many cycles of death and a collapse and no more team, no more funding, no one working on it, and identity crisis and no value accrual. So many times that it's just overcooked, but it's still there. You can't kill it, right? And it's still in the top 60. Like if it were dead, then it would be far outside the top 100, but it's not. It's still in the top 60. And we're already seeing the first signs of that new alignment. Alice Network announcing a partnership, and that partnership focuses on Atom alignment, which also makes Atom the default gas token on Alice. And Alice is one of the teams that is collaborating with Interchain Labs to ensure Atom is always prioritized and that Atom is back on the map. And I think the same counts for the Shade Protocol team and hopefully more teams to come. Now, one important metrics to always keep an eye on that also shows and indicates the conviction of investors into Atom, the asset, is the amount of bonded atoms and its trajectory, its direction, right? And in late, kind of in November, December, we saw this massive unstaking spree, where we went from a staking ratio of around 60% all the way to below 54%. But now we've been going up only again. So now we are currently at around 56%, still far away from 60%. But I think this is showing that, just showing a reversal, right? And I think we might have actually bottomed out here below 54% for the Atom bonded ratio, because that really indicates investors' conviction, long-term conviction in Atom, the asset. And those that exited, I think at some point, they're just also running out of powder and they can't sell anymore. Now, we also have news from Stride. Stride now launched stBGT, which is a liquid version of BGT, which is the non-transferable token on Berachain, which you can't trade or use as collateral, but you can use it to stake or to boost your validator. And with the launch of stBGT, they're also doing a 200,000 USDC airdrop program over the next, I think, 75 days. And what you will be able to do with stBGT is that you can stake it to earn staking rewards. You can pair it with Bera. On BeraSwap, you can use it as collateral to borrow against. Integration is coming soon, and you can convert it to Bera. You can read the full proposal here. And speaking about Berachain, the Bera token has been going down, currently $6.56, which, to be honest, in my opinion, is not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal for a chain that just went live. Of course, it was expected that they get a lot of backlash on their tokenomics, on the airdrop. Like, that's always the case, right? And I understand people frustrated that did not get the airdrop, especially for this heavily overfarmed testnet that everybody was spending so much time on and ended up getting nothing. I personally think farming the Eclipse Turbo Tap right now is probably going to be more beneficial and also translate into an airdrop. But on Berachain, that wasn't the case, and a lot of people are frustrated, fair enough. But nonetheless, I think Bera is going to play a major role this cycle if their proof of liquidity algorithm works, if they manage to pull off some viral application on their ecosystem. But the fact that POL works the way it does, I think makes it very, very appealing, and high likelihood that Bera can pull off some applications that have decent tractions and volumes. Their price below $7 right now actually implies a less than $3.5 billion FTV for a chain of that magnitude, with that awareness, community, funding, network of institutions and VCs is actually quite decent. And you don't have to love Bera. I understand if you don't like it because of the airdrop, because of tokenomics and whatnot, but I think this is still something that you will probably see a lot during this cycle on your timeline. Now, one of the next big launches alongside Story Protocol and Nilian that is coming up in February is also going to be Initia, and they're very, very close to launch as well. We also have a bunch of Minitia rollups that are launching on Initia day one, apparently. One of which also being Milky Way. And Milky Way just announced USDC restaking collaboration with Noble, where you can also earn points. So definitely something for you to check out. And Milky Way is a liquid staking protocol currently residing on Osmosis, but migrating onto Initia and becoming a true restaking hub once also Initia is fully live. But you can already deposit on Milky Way, and you can already farm points, not only Milky Way points, but also others such as droplets, for example. Now, it's been a while, but finally we hear some sign of life from the Strange Clan, which is a game that's been in the works forever. But yeah, they teased this here, which is basically their NFT eggs potentially that are going to hatch soon. So we'll see what Strange Clan has been cooking over the years. And finally, nice picture here, Rushi with Donald Trump Jr. at Ondo Summit. Donald Trump Jr., I think, manages World Liberty Finance, the Trump crypto project, and they actually bought Move tokens like 1 or 2 weeks ago for $4 million. So maybe there's more coming there. And Rushi and Movement Labs, as a true American company, American project, is potentially going to make some big waves, and also has their mainnet launch ongoing right now. So we'll keep you posted on the Movement mainnet launch as well, and see how that migration from the Move ERC20 token to Move mainnet token goes. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. You learned something. You're not giving in. Crypto is going to do fine eventually. And subscribe to the channel. I'll see you very, very soon here on Cryptocito. Until then, stay safe and be good.